Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing on today? Okay, first of all, I'm fangirling. Guys, do you see who we have with us today? We have Angela Jackson Brown. The double A's are in the house today. I love it. But, guys, we are talking about her new release, Homeward. Oh, my goodness. We have so much to talk about on today. And as you can see, I am super duper excited. Of course, you guys know what to do. Like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to come on down to the cafe because we are going homeward with Angela Jackson Brown. First of all, Angela, thank you so much for accepting the invitation and coming and hanging out with us here on the cafe. They are coming on in. We have Myra Cook that is hanging out with us. Hey, Myra, thank you so much for joining
Myra.
us today. We have Tiffany Jones of Tiff's Happy Place coming to hang out with us as well. And so, of course, Myra, we want to allow you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the people, my friend.
Myra.
Hey, Myra. So, Angela, now is your time to introduce yourself to the people on today.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. I am so honored to be here. I am, I don't even know what to say. You interview some amazing people, and just to be included among that group, it just warms my heart. So thank you for the work that you do. I am an associate professor. I teach in the creative writing program at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. I have been writing my entire life. I don't think there's ever been a time where I didn't consider myself a writer, but it's really, I published my first book in my mid 40s, and I haven't slowed down since. So I am a writer, a poet, and a playwright.
I love that. I love that. Well, congratulations to you. And thank you for just bringing us such amazing, amazing stories, including Homeward, your new release as well. And they are continuing to show you love in the comment section. We have Ruby, who is joining us. Hey, Ruby, thank you for joining
I
us. We have LaShawn Hawks, who's joining us as well. And again, guys, of course, a like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to come on down to the cafe. And you guys know how we do it here. Of course, if you have a question or two for Angela Jackson Brown, put it in the comment section and we'll be sure to include you as well. So, Angela, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, the title of this book is called Homeward. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But if you know anything about me, Angela, I love a good cover. Okay. And this is an intriguing cover. Tell us a little bit about this cover. And guys, if you've read the book, the cover will totally make sense or what have you. But Angela, can you share a little bit about this cover and what was your reaction when you saw your final cover?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll say this. My publisher, Harper Muse, they went all out in terms of getting the vision of what I wanted. And I told them nothing. I just said, here are some themes in the book. Of course, they read the book. And I said, I trust you because this is my third book with HarperCollins, the mothership, but my second book with Harper Muse. And we have the theme of the silhouette. You'll notice when stars rain down, you have the silhouette of the woman. And then my other book, The Light Always Breaks, there's also a silhouette. And so I knew I wanted a silhouette to repeat in this particular book, but I didn't really give them too much more than that. When I saw the cover, I said, that's my cover. And I'm picky. Every other book I've ever written, I've gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. When I saw this cover, I said, he did that. So Derek Thornton was the cover designer. And Derek, he did it. It's as if he got inside of my brain and figured out what I would want as a cover. So I was so happy by it because it just, like you say, thematically, it touches on the peaches, the peach orchards that followed from When Stars Rain Down to this book. And then also the civil rights movement that plays such a heavy role in the story.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, shout out to Derek. on this amazing, amazing cover. And again, like I said, guys, if you have read the book, if you are starting to read the book, if you're getting ready to read the book, once you get into it, you will definitely, the cover will totally make sense. Totally make sense. Now,
Yes.
the other thing that I want to talk a little bit about before we kind of get inside some of the things that's happening into this amazing story is the title. Now, Angela, can you spill a little bit of tea? Was this your original working title, Homeward, or did this title evolve as you begin to get into the writing of this amazing story?
So yet again, the publisher just got it. My
Okay.
editor, Kimberly, and the other members of the sales team, they came up with this title. That was not me at all. And here's the craziness. I would have to go back in my computer and look up what the original working title was. I don't even remember. It seems like it's
Oh,
always been Homeward.
Homeward.
That's yeah, yeah, yeah. It just fits so perfectly. So, yeah, again, it when you're with people who really get you and they want to make sure that your message is for at the forefront, they come up with amazing covers and amazing titles, and all I had to do was write the book.
I love that. I love that. And let me just tell you, Angela, and write the book you did. Okay.
Well,
Guys,
thank
I'm
you.
just gonna fill you in a little bit. Okay. Angela, she captures you. First of all, if you read the blurb, you are already captured. Okay. You are already captured by the blurb. But when you read this book, it's almost like Angela hits you with a headliner. So it's like, this is going down. This is what happened. Okay. But I love the way that you started the story. Of course, you captured me in, and I was just there. And Angela, you wrote with so much depth and richness and emotions. I mean, I'm almost wondering, like, were there moments where you had moments because the emotions that was on the page, like I could feel them. And oh my goodness, this book, man, it's a book of all the feels for sure, because you will be on an emotional journey. You just will, in this particular book. So can you share a little bit about that for us? What was the emotional journey like for you? Because I'm just thinking about with me reading the book and
Yeah.
the richness that came out of it. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
It absolutely does. And my husband and I were talking about that because he said, he's my measuring stick in terms of did I hit the pulse of what I was looking for my readers. And he always
Mhm.
gives me an emotional reaction. And he said, how did you sit down and write that and not just be in tears every single day? But I said to him, I think of it in the same way I would imagine a doctor would think about working with a patient. You have to detach yourself
Mhm.
emotionally at certain times in the writing
Okay.
process. Because otherwise, I would have changed details to protect my characters from some of the things that happened to them. There are certain things in the book that did happen that probably wouldn't have if I allowed my emotions to overwhelm me. So I just try to stick with my outline. I
Mm.
always outline my books. So I knew what was going to happen before it even happened, which allowed me to just kind of stay in the
Okay.
moment and write the story.
I love that. Well, you did an amazing job, and I totally enjoyed this story through and through. And not only just the story side of it, oh my goodness, Angela, the historical side of it as well, to dig deep down into what was going on during that time, the civil rights movement, all of that good stuff as well. So thank you. I'm so appreciative of you bringing that side of history out in this particular novel. But can you share with us, I guess if we can backtrack a little bit, can you share with us what inspired Homeward? What inspired this book?
Well, I started writing when stars rain down, and telling the story of the Pruitt family and the Perkins family that merged together when
Mhm.
Opal and Cedric married. And I just could not let that family go. I wanted, just like some readers, I wanted to know what happened next. So I decided I wanted to write about this family in the 19 early days of the civil rights movement in the 1960s. And at first I thought I was going to write with Opal as my protagonist again. But the more I thought about it, the more I decided I wanted to
Oh,
write it from the point of view of her daughter. So I just started
yeah.
digging and looking at 1960s and looking at what was happening historically and trying to see how I could insert my characters into the past.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And interesting enough, I know for me, I love the family dynamic. And you had several families that you were able to see the dynamics and even the difference of Rose, or of course, her family, and then you have Jasper and what his family dynamic looked like. And then even when she made the trip to Atlanta, and just the different family dynamics that was incorporated, that you was able to see as well. Is that something that you enjoy doing in your writing, or for this particular book? How important was that for you to kind of bring out that side of a family? Oh.
Right. Well, I wanted to show that there is no monolithic Black family, just like there isn't now, there wasn't
Mhm.
then. And I also wanted to illustrate that during the civil rights movement, Black people were all over the map in terms of how we supported or didn't support the movement.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
shocked as a child. I asked my dad, I said, "Did you march with Dr. King?" And daddy said, "No. Some of us just were trying to survive." And I wanted to show Black families who were good people, but had different beliefs in terms of whether or
Yeah.
not we could even be involved with the civil rights movement.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that definitely came across in the story as well. And you did a great job of showing that different dynamics of kind of where some people stood. And one of the things that I actually enjoyed while reading this, it was almost like you took me back where I kind of went down memory lane, like some of the stuff that you talked about in the story, like, no, this one I always love, and you probably can appreciate this. But I think about, and I think I was talking to my daughter or someone the other day about this. When you think about the Black family, like back in the day, and even how they showed up for stuff, like how they showed up to church, or how remember there was a scene in the book where this is towards the beginning, where Jasper comes home and he's getting, and the dad said that they can take the car and all this good stuff, and mama pulls out this dress, and but all of that, or even think about how they showed up for church, or even how they showed up for work. I was like, wow, I
Right.
remember that. Or remember how, like, it was a big to do, of what you wore to church, or what you wore to show up as a Black individual, or what have you. So I definitely appreciated that, and that kind of put me back in thoughts of remembering just different things. There were things that you brought out, some things made me chuckle, or what have you, about, how the grandma had this saying about, like, you, even if you won't going anywhere, you got up and got dressed. Look, you
Oh,
got up,
that's
took your bath, washed up, and you put some clothes on.
absolutely. I mean, that was how I grew up. The idea, even now, of going to the grocery store without putting on my good clothes,
Your good
it's just
clothes.
something that I was raised to believe, that you are always representing your family, and no matter where you go,
Yes,
you're putting your family's
yes.
reputation on the line. So yeah, going to church, it was always a
Yeah, and look,
production.
and that's what Tiff was. Yep. Look, Tiff's happy
Yeah,
place said representation. Yes, that was
exactly.
important. You representing your peoples.
That's it.
And Ruby said, yes, even going to downtown or town to shop. Yes, that is so true as well. So I wanted to bring that out as well. And I'm glad to know that those were things that you kind of pulled on from how you grew up into this story as well. And that kind of leads me into, you started talking about it just a little bit ago. What was the research like for writing Homeward?
I spent probably a good 9 months doing the research for this book because, A large part of it was obviously getting the details correct historically, but it was also because
Mhm.
I have so many real people in this book, like Dr. King and John Lewis, and
Yes.
so many other people that we would recognize. I wanted to make sure that I presented them in a way that would feel authentic to anyone that actually knew them. So it was a
Mhm.
process, but it was a process that it was well worth the effort, because we live in a world now where history is being dismissed or being radically
Mhm.
changed. I think the
Mhm.
obligation for those of us who write historical fiction has elevated, because for some people the access to history will come through us, those of us writing historical fiction. So I have to get the details right.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, thank you so much. And again, this book, it's educational, it's informative, and like I said, it's definitely a page turner. Like you're sitting on like every word. I love that. I love how you end a chapter, how you begin a chapter, and like I said before, even just the emotional side of it, as well. And of course, we are definitely going to talk about the characters in just a bit. But before we talk about the characters, I want to ask you, and I know that you shared with us that the parents, which they a lot of times the children refer to them as Mama and Papa, but guys, they're Opal and Cedric. And if you are
Right.
just joining us, let me just reset the room. Let me tell you, I am hanging out with Angela Jackson Brown. Guys, I'm super duper excited. Her amazing new novel, Homeward, it is hot off the press. It is available where books are sold. We'll be sharing with you as well, where you can get your hands on a copy of it. And of course, guys, if you have a question for Angela, feel free to put it in the comment section. We'll be sure to try to include you as well. But Angela, when you think about the characters of this book and just the journey in writing it and fleshing it out, for you, when you decided, okay, I'm going to write this book, what came first? Can you spill a little bit of tea? Was it the plot of this story or was it the characters?
Yeah. The first thing that came to me was, this woman has gotten pregnant. This young woman has gotten pregnant with a baby by a man that's not her husband. And I knew that.
Look, Angela. Okay, we gonna let that sit right there, guy. We gonna let that simmer, okay? And that's how Angela starts this. But I told you she started with the headliner. So if
Yeah.
that, and that's not a spoiler, guys. It's that's in the blurb, okay? That's in
Yeah.
the blurb. But Angela, I was like, oh, okay, oh, but continue.
Yeah, because sometimes writers will try to build up to the tension. I really like to come out the gate with the tension. I want you to know where everyone's standing right from the start. And I knew that that detail was going to propel the rest of the story. It was going to determine how her relationship evolved with her husband, how it evolved with her family
Mhm.
members. And then it was going to
Yes,
dictate how she chose to recover from that choice.
yes,
So
yeah,
everything was built on that decision. And it was a one night occurrence, but it had a ripple
wow.
effect on her life and everyone who loved her and
Yes,
cared
of
about her.
consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. And I love the way of how, you starts it off with her sitting on the porch with her sister, you know, and
Yeah.
even at that moment, she's having this conversation with herself like girl, like she having that conversation like what in the world? Like, how is this me right now? All of this good stuff and kind of backtracking in her mind of, what happened, all this good stuff too. And even her mom, where, I love that scene where, it was like, mom was basically like, okay, are you ready to talk? And really, y'all know, when you do so, you like, no, I really don't want to talk. But mom, like, okay, come on, we're gonna talk, we're gonna take a walk, and it
Right.
was almost like, even though I love how the mom reprimanded her, but she loved her through it at the same time. And even when she was like, "Oh, you gonna tell your daddy," but basically saying, "Oh, I'm not telling him for him. You
Right.
gonna tell him where." And also the love that she had for her dad of saying like, "Man, I do not want to disappoint my father," with that.
Yeah.
But even in the midst of all that she was going through, that family dynamic that was there as well. But guys, if you're just joining us, we're hanging out with Angela Jackson Brown on today, guys. Let me just tell you, if you have not read, if you have not ordered, if you have not got you a copy of Homeward, let me just tell you to go ahead and get you a copy. You will not be disappointed. This one right here is it's a winner. It is definitely a winner. But I want for you to let's talk about these characters a little bit.
Mhm.
Is there a character before we start fleshing them out? Is there a character in Homeward that for you was the most interesting for you to write? And at the same time, is there a character that like gave you pause where you had to say, you know what, let me sit with this character for a moment? So kind of a two-part question there.
I'll have to say, Rose herself was the most difficult character for
Mm.
me to write, simply
Mm.
because the idea of her sleeping with someone else other than her husband, especially a man like Jasper, who was such an innocent and such
Whew. Yeah.
a loving, caring man. It took a while for me to wrap my brain around, how do I have this character as my main character when I'm so opposed
Mhm.
to the behavior that she exhibits? But I
Mhm.
recognized that I had to be able to show her the same grace that her family was willing to show her. So
Yes.
as the creator, I had to be able to forgive her, and until
Mm.
I was able to forgive her for the choices that she made, I kept finding myself writing in myself into circles. I would write a little bit and then I'm like, oh, that doesn't work. I don't think I can make this. And I realized that the problem was that I was judging her. And until I allowed
Mm.
my
Ooh,
own
that's good.
judgment, yeah, until I allowed my own judgments as her creator, but once I allowed those to go and I was able to think about her in the same way her mother thought about her, was that I'm angry with you. I am
Mm.
I am disappointed by your actions, but I love you.
Mhm. I love you. Yes, yes.
And it's all about grace, this whole book to
Yeah.
me, it's a testament to giving grace to each other and recognizing that none of us are perfect and that we all have made poor decisions about something at some
Mhm.
point in our life,
Yes.
and that if I can show that a character like Rose can be redeemed from the things that she did,
Yes.
then that just shows any of us can have that sort of
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Angela, I love that. Guys, if you are just joining us, Angela is, oh my goodness, she is spilling some tea on
Oh,
today at the cafe. And LaShawn, yes, it was like, even though she was an adult,
exactly
she
what
was a baby as well. Yes, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that as well. And it was almost like, in addition to her, just her journey, we were able to see her evolve. We were able to see her come into her own. We was actually able to see her come into adulthood, if that makes
yeah.
sense, Angela, or what have you, of when she left home with this guy. We're going to talk about Jasper in a little bit too, of getting to this place of like, okay, this is clearly not what he told me what it was going to be, because
Right.
that was like night and day from what she was used to, from where
Yeah.
her family was from, or what have you. So let's talk about these characters a little bit. And of course, guys, if you have a question or two for Angela, definitely put them in the comment section as well. If you're just joining us, we are hanging out with Angela Jackson Brown on today, guys, talking about her latest release, Homeward, which is live and in color. It is available. We will be sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy of it. So let's talk a little bit about the characters a little bit. And let's start with, and we'll start with Rose, because again, uh, Rose was complex. There's a lot to unpack there. But what can you tell us about Rose, about her character?
Well, Rose is, she's slightly older than a teenager, but not by much.
Mhm.
and she's
Right.
lived a very sheltered life. In some
Mhm.
ways, I would say that was a large part of what my childhood was like. I was sheltered
Mhm.
by a daddy who was very nurturing. I had uncles and cousins who were very nurturing, and aunts. So I was in a very close community where I felt, protected. That's not to say bad things didn't happen, but I always felt like I had a community of people who loved me very strongly. And I wanted to show that part
Mhm.
about this particular community of Black people. I think oftentimes when we think about Black people during this era, they're often seen as victims, or they're often seen as individuals who don't have upward mobility.
Mm.
Well, her family has both. I mean, they're not rich by any stretch of the imagination. They work hard for what they get, but they were able, or her parents were able to really pamper her and spoil her, which kind of led
Yeah.
to decisions that she made because she never heard the word no. Whatever she needed, whatever
Right.
she wanted, there was always someone there to provide for her. And I wanted to show that part of our community because I think, again,
Mhm.
sometimes people believe that, first of all, there's not a Black family where there's a father or strong men in the presence of the children, and that wasn't my reality. And I wanted to illustrate
Mhm.
that in this book. She has her dad, she has her uncle, she has her brother, her brothers, and she's always being
Yep.
seen about by other people in the family. But I also wanted to show that by the end of the book, Rose comes into her own, and she sees her place in the civil rights movement and how she can help
Yeah.
to propel us forward as a community. And as when I started writing the book, I never saw that for her, or I never saw how I was going to
Oh.
get her there. That was my goal. But I thought, how am I going to get her from this very selfish young woman who cheats on her husband to this young woman who's willing to put her life on the line for
Yeah.
her family and the people in her community? But after some working, I was able, I hope, to get her to that place in such a way
Yeah.
that makes sense to a reader.
And thank you so much for her journey, because like I said, as you're reading the book, you definitely see when things start to turn for her, or what have you. Now let's talk a little bit about Jasper. And guys, if you've read the book, I am representing my blue on today. Y'all know that that was Jasper's favorite color, so I was like, I gotta wear a little bit of blue for Jasper, because Jasper was indeed a good man. But tell us a little bit about Jasper character. If you had to describe him in like 3 words or more, what would you say about Jasper?
I think Jasper represents every good man that has ever crossed my path and been in my life, whether that's my daddy, that's my stepdaddy, my husband, my uncles, my cousins. Every good man that I've ever encountered has been wrapped up into the personality that was eventually Jasper. I worried at first that he might come across as too perfect. But then I realized that, why is it problematic for us to have a Black male character who embodies goodness? And don't we need more examples of that in our literature to
Mm-hmm.
illustrate that there are good men,
Yeah.
period, but there are definitely good Black men who stand by the women and the men that
Yeah.
they love, and their stories deserve to be told. And so that's what I wanted to do with Jasper. And I wanted someone that would love her, not in spite of her shortcomings, but would love her because he understood that she was human and she made mistakes. And just like he wanted forgiveness for some
Yeah.
of the decisions he
Yeah.
made, he wanted to be able to give that same grace to her.
Right.
Yeah. So he's a favorite
I
character of
totally
mine.
agree. And Jasper, oh my goodness, it was like Jasper did a thing. Like all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to give away too much, because I want you guys to go and read it. All I'm gonna say is Jasper did a thing. Okay, Jasper
He
did
did
a
do a
thing,
thing.
and it was just. And even from her family, I mean, everybody could see that Jasper was just man. Okay, Jasper was the man. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. For that. But can you tell a little bit about, and I know she's, can you tell me a little bit about Jasper's mom? Because yeah, tell me a little bit about her. How would you, describe her a little bit for me?
Yeah, Jasper's mother she wasn't a main character in the story. In fact, you don't
Right.
really get to hear her voice much at all. But just like her son, she was a good woman who was able to forgive Rose and to accept this baby as her
Mhm.
son's child because he accepted this baby as his child. And so, again, wanting to
Mhm.
illustrate that although she didn't come from the same level of good fortune as Rose's family, they were poor sharecroppers. They didn't
Right.
own the land that they farmed. She didn't have the best education, but she had a good heart. And that good heart is
Yeah.
what he endowed to her son. And so he got it from his mama.
Yes.
Yeah.
He got it from his mama. I love that. I love that. Guys, if you are just joining us, as you can see, I know we have other stuff to talk about, but this book is like amazing. It is totally a book with all the feels. Last up, we definitely got to talk a little bit about Isaac. How would you describe Isaac in 5 words or more?
Yes, Isaac was driven, he was passionate, he was handsome.
Mm.
He believed strongly in justice. He believed in giving back. He believed that he lived on this planet with the ultimate goal of helping people who were less fortunate because Isaac grew up.
Mhm.
Um, he was adopted son to a Jewish couple who had previously employed his mother, and
Mhm.
at her after she passed away, they adopted him. But they were very adamant that he was not going to be this pampered, selfish young man, that he was going to give back to the community. And they wanted him to work
Mhm.
in the civil
Mhm.
rights movement. And in my research, I found that there were a number of Black Jewish people actively involved in the civil rights movement right before John Lewis took over the role
Mhm.
of the head of SNCC, the Student um, Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. The man that was in charge of that
Uh-huh.
organization before him was a Black Jewish man. And oftentimes, when we think about the civil rights movement and we hear that Jewish people were heavily involved in the movement, we don't necessarily think about Black Jewish people. But there was a variety of individuals from all different backgrounds,
Mhm.
all with the same goal of promoting peace and justice for everyone.
I love that. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with us as well. And guys, if you're just joining us, I'm hanging out with Angela Jackson Brown. Guys, we're talking about her amazing new story, Homeward. And there is a question, I think they had put it in here. They wanted to know, is this book a part of a series or is it a standalone? Tell us a little bit about that. Mm.
It's a little bit of both. It's set in the same fictional universe. Three of my books, When Stars Rain Down, The Light Always Breaks, and then Homeward, all three of those books are based in the same fictional universe, characters coming from Parsons, Georgia. But all three of the books can be read separate from each other, and I promise you, you won't be lost. Now, if you read them in order, you will recognize certain characters from previous books, or you'll recognize certain storylines from previous books, but you shouldn't be lost at any point. And I was very adamant about getting readers to read the books without reading them in order to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Because one thing, I, as a reader, I've always hated when I'll go to a bookstore and I'll pick up a book because it sounds interesting, and I'll get home and I'll start reading it, and then I realize, oh wait, there were 3 other books I should have read before this one, and now I don't understand what's happening. So I wanted to make sure that my readers could read them in order, they could read them out of order, and either way they would still be able to follow the plot.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Angela, for doing that. So, guys, if you was wondering, you can read it as a standalone. You will not be lost, and of course, you can go back and capture the other 2 books as well. But if not, you will be good to go if you start with Homeward as well. Now, of course, I know you guys, after all this talk that we have done, I know you guys are on the edge of your seats. And yes, Angela is going to read us a short snippet of Homeward. And Angela, I'm going to allow you to set it up, to let us know what you're getting ready to read, and you can start when you are. I'm ready.
So I'm going to read a little snippet from actually the sermon in the book that Dr. King preached. And I'm reading it just because when I first thought about including that in the book, I tried to get the rights to use actual sermon excerpts from Dr. King's work, but the cost of doing that was so expensive that I decided I'm going to study his sermons. I'm going to study how he delivers his sermons, and I'm going to write a sermon for Dr. King. So this is just a snippet of the sermon that I wrote for Dr. King when he comes to
Wow.
Athens, Georgia, to preach at my fictional church. When peace like a river attendeth my way, he said slowly, repeating the words of the song. When I was a wee boy, I asked my daddy, what did those words mean? And he said, son, that's the kind of peace that rushes over you like a great rushing water. Today, saints, I will speak to you on the subject of peace. We have been taught as a people that peace is synonymous with allowing our white brothers and sisters to walk all over us. They are continuously and without impunity denying us our basic rights as human beings. We should be saying to them, no, sir, we will not stand by and swallow your disrespect in great gulps as if we were thirsting for it. But instead of doing that, we hang our heads in shame as we slink away, talking about we must keep the peace.
Guys, there you have it. Oh my goodness. It definitely gets you a copy of Homeward. We will be sharing with you. Thank you so much, Angela, for sharing that snippet from Homeward as well. And guys, of course, you know we cannot go by without doing a round of this or that with author Angela Jackson Brown. Angela, I promise you there are no right or wrong answers, my friend. It is all things according to you. Are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. First up, fall or spring?
Spring.
Okay. Airplane ride or road trip?
Road trip.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Road trips. Okay. Now, Angela, countryside or the city?
Countryside.
Okay. Apple cinnamon or pumpkin spice?
Oh Lord, child. Neither one of them, but I'll say apple cinnamon.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Okay, Angela, we are taking a trip, my friend. Are we going to the beach or are we going to the mountains?
Beach. We're going to the beach.
Beach? Okay, Angela's going to the beach. Okay, Angela, now this one we have to know for the cafe, my friend. Are you team tea or are you team coffee?
Team T all the way.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for playing a round of this or that. And they are still giving you love in the comment section about that snippet that you read
Thank
as well.
you.
They're saying a great snippet that you read as well. And of course, guys, you know that there is going to be a giveaway on today. I'm going to allow Angela to share with us what the giveaway is going to be on today.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I'm so excited to share with your viewers the two of the books that we've talked about tonight. So I'm going to give away a copy of When Stars Rain Down and a copy of Homeward. That way you can read this book first and then you can follow through and read this book and you can learn all about this family in Parsons, Georgia.
I love that. Guys, did you hear that? Not one book, but two books the individual on tonight is going to get. And Angela, you're going to be my helper. I'm going to go up and down the comment section, my friend, and you're going to tell me when to stop. And then that person is going to be the winner of these two books in this series. Okay, I am ready when you are. I'm moving. So whenever you tell me to stop, my friend.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. Ruby Deborah Page, you are the winner, my friend. So you get two books. You get, of course, a homework. And Angela, can you hold up the other book that they're going to get as well? And Ruby, if you will inbox me your information, you're getting the print copies. So if you inbox me your information, I'll be sure to get that over to Angela so we can get that out to you. Congratulations on your win on tonight. Amazing giveaway. Thank you so much, Angela. An amazing giveaway on tonight. And of course, Angela, you have to share with us how can we get our hands on a copy of this amazing story. And I also wanted to let you know, Angela, that independent bookstore Riches and Reading, she also is carrying Homeward, and I do have a link to Riches and Reading bookstore that I will also be including in the comment section so they can get it there. But where else can they get their hands on a copy of Homeward?
Actually, you can pretty much everywhere books are sold, you definitely can go. And I encourage people to go to your locally owned bookstores. And if they aren't carrying the books, then ask them, why aren't you carrying these books? And then for those of you that like the instantaneous getting your book in the mail, you can go to any of the online book sources that will send out books and you can order them from those chains.
I love that. I love that. There you have it, guys. Of course, Riches and Reading at www.richesandreading.com. She is a sponsor of Angela's Literary Cafe. You can get it from there. Of course, you can get it where books are sold as well. And if it's at an indie bookstore and they don't have it, request it. Have them to order it for you. And of course, you can, request it from your local library, all of that good stuff as well. Angela, I know that it is available in ebook and it's available in print copies, paperback or what have you. Is it also available in audio as well?
It absolutely is. You can get that book on Audible. You can get it, I guess, anywhere. I think some public libraries you can even listen to the book. The person who read my book, Jonice Abbott Pratt, is amazing. She did the narration for all three of my last books, and she did an amazing job for this book too. Wonderful meeting you too, LaShawn.
I love that. I love that. Well, there you have it. And LaShawn says, nice. Yes. She said, nice to meet you. And she looked forward to reading your work. Guys, there you have it. It is available in all three formats. So whatever suits your fancy is available in audio, it's available in ebook, and it's also available in print where books are sold as well. And of course, Angela, please share with us, my friend, how can we stay connected with you?
Oh my goodness. Well, you can find me on all of the different social media outlets. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, every now and then I'll put a TikTok video up. So you can find me there, and you can find me on Twitter, X, or whatever Twitter's calling itself these days. So yeah, on all social media, you can go to my website and follow me from there at www.angelajacksonbrown.com.
I love that. I love that, guys. And there you have it. Be sure to stay connected with Angela Jackson Brown as well. And Angela, on your website, is there a newsletter that they can sign up for as well?
I do have a link for them to register. I haven't started the newsletter up again. It'll probably go out again in the beginning of the year. So, yes, tell people to go and register. And then as soon as the newsletter is ready to start going out, they'll get that.
I love it. I love it. And we have put it in the comment section. You can go to her website. You can sign up for her newsletter. And of course, if you see her book, Homeward, or any of her books out in the wild, definitely take a picture, tag Angela as well. Feel free to tag her publishing company, Hopper Muse, as well, guys. If you have a copy, take a picture, tag it, tag her as well, like, tag, and share, tell a friend to go out and get this amazing story. Of course, on her website, you can see her books from her backlist as well. And of course, you are more than welcome to order any of those and read those as well. And of course, guys, once you finish Homeward, be sure to leave a review. I know that Angela Jackson Brown will be so appreciative of you guys doing that as well. Angela, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me at the cafe. It has been a pleasure, my friend, to talk about your new release. And I want to allow you to have the last words of what you want to say to the people on tonight.
Oh my goodness. Well, first, I just want to say thank you, Angela. What you do is so important for writers like myself, because the mainstream does not always give us the love that we need in order to get our work out to the public. So without individuals like you, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So thank you for supporting authors. Thank you for supporting my work. And thank you to all of your listeners. I'm excited about my next book, and it's not set in Parsons, Georgia, but it will be coming out next year, and I'll be announcing the title very soon and revealing the cover. So tell everyone to follow me so they can get all the tea.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you again, Angela, for hanging out with us and talking about Homeward as well. I thank all of you for joining us on tonight with Angela Jackson Brown, talking about her new release. As we said, it is available where books are sold, including Richardson Reading. Indie Bookstore is available there as well. So go out. We know that it's the holiday time. Books make great gifts as well. So buy one for you, buy one for a friend, even buddy read it with somebody as well, if that's what you want to do. And again, Angela, thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. That's our time. That's our show on today. And as we always say, have an amazing day, because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Go get you a copy of Homework. Have a great day. Bye-bye.